Hi, and welcome back to my orchid life. Loki says thank you for coming by. This is my little supervisor. He's always around whenever I'm filming or watering my orchids and plants. He just always makes sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. Today we are going to look at the setup that I have for the winter setup in my living room, because if we just kind of scan around, look what we have in the living room now. My husband and my daughter decided they wanted to put up the Christmas tree last night, so that is now front and center in the living room. I had to kind of rearrange the plants and the orchids a little bit, so let's just kind of see what is going on. Let's go over here. The Hilo Firecracker New Year is still in its same spot. It is absorbing this leaf, which is wonderful because those pseudobulbs are starting to really shrink in, but there are roots going down into the pot. Those right there, I miss them every day, but there are roots in the pot. So those should be plumping up here shortly. We have our oncidiums that were put back together that are still working on lots of new growth still on the table. The Oncidium Sherry Baby Sweet Fragrance number 3 is still again on this table. And thank you, Deanna Nicole, for reminding me about the rocks to help keep that humidity in, because she is growing some roots. Then we have the Martin Leatherberry Licious. Let's see, she's a Wilsonera who has a new growth coming on her. And of course we have Princess Scary here that is still just working on her pseudobulb. So those were all still left in the same spot with the grow light that comes from up there. Today I went to find a pot because I did have one casualty when they were putting up the tree. One of my African violets fell and the pot broke, so I had to go buy a pot. Well, while I was buying a pot, this thing right here caught my eye. This is, let's see if we can get it in focus, an Ancastella Wildcat Yellow King. So with the O in the front of that, I'm assuming there's some Odontoglossum in there. So I do have it over here because this is kind of a cooler area for them. But let me just show you why I had to get this. Look at this bloom. Oh my goodness. And I just love the way that, look at the lip. And then this part here, it looks like she has two lips, like this big fancy lip and then the little one, but it's all part of her nectar process there. And then at the bottom, looks like a little man standing guard. Look, there's the head, the two arms, and then that little dot right there looks like his feet. Doesn't he look like a little man? You get him in closer so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. You can kind of see like a nose or maybe even a beard. Isn't that the cutest? The camera's probably not doing it justice because these petals and sepals aren't quite this bright yellow. They're more of a muted yellow with this maroon spotting here, and then it continues in here. That I just love it. And then there's more blooms to open. Also, I got it because we have, let me zoom back out a little bit. We have this growth and this growth, which this one here is further along than this one. There are two new growths on this side. So I will be having to repot once these right here kind of start developing a root system, just because it will be growing out of the pot if the bulbs end up being this big. But isn't she just beautiful? Let's just look at her one more time. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. See how it's a kind of more of a darker yellow? That's just beautiful, beautiful. All right, and then here, the only thing that was added onto here was I added my Bonicle and then the Ficus ginseng. I moved the aloe on this table here just to continue giving her that good light. We have the Catatante Orange Kiss that is still working on her spike, and it's probably about right in here. It's almost ready to start shooting through. We have the Red Fantasy still here. And then, of course, while I was there, I had to get a Christmas cactus with everyone showing theirs. I was looking for like the purple or the red, something with a darker color. But this one here is going to be like a soft pink. So it'll still be pretty. Right now, it is in kind of a flimsy, almost like, you know, those orchids that we get that are in those flimsy plastic pots. That's what she's in. But she'll stay in here until she outgrows it, because from what I understand, they do like to stay root bound. And she did come with this pot right here. It's a little tin pot. And I put some rocks at the bottom just to make sure that she's not sitting in any water drainage, because I did add holes to the bottom. And I'll keep her in this pot just to remind me it is a Christmas cactus and not a Thanksgiving cactus. I have a hard time telling the difference between the two. And then we have the Cymbidium California Dreamin' over here. Still working on those 2 new growths that she started late summer. And then let's just move up over here. I have left the cuculata in the window so that I don't change any of her lighting, but if I can get it in just right, let's see, because the tree's kind of in the way, but do you see she's got new root growth coming as well, so that's awesome. And zoom back out, and of course we've got our tree here. My favorite ornament is, let's see, of course, Darth Vader. I'm a big Star Wars fan. And then I love this ornament right here because that one we bought to honor our son. And then of course I love my little bird here. All right, now this is the busy corner. I mean, look how busy that is. But I think I got everybody in the right area so that it didn't change too much for them. So the mounts are still in the same spot. So we have the Brassavola Little Stars, we have the Hippopotami, and then we have my Montana Big Sky, who is finishing off that growth. See if I can get in without messing anything up. So she's starting to finish that off. I find it really funny that when she was in a pot, she was laying down. Now that she's on a mount, she kind of wants to stick out. She doesn't know what she wants to do. I moved the Echeverria and the Lola over here, which is also, I believe, an Echeverria, but this way they can get that light from the grow light that's kind of up there. And then the Alocasia Polly has a new leaf coming. The mother-in-law's tongue is still there. I did tie her up a little bit. And then my rubber tree plant, otherwise known as a Ficus Elastica Burgundy. We have the Bellina over here on this side, and then I have a Speciosa red on this side. This one here is the Chainzing Diamond, and if you see I have this cardboard here, well, that is to train that spike to go towards the light on this side, not that side. So eventually, once the spike develops, blooms open up, I can turn her straight so we can see her from the front. The Dendrobium cucumarin, the cucumber plant, I had to pot her into something a little bit smaller because the moss was not staying moist enough and I wasn't paying enough attention and it kept drying out, so I lost quite a few leaves. But since putting it in this about 3 weeks ago, it has maintained these here, so hopefully it'll settle in. And then we have the big white Cattleya that I put into charcoal, still in the same spot. We have roots extending down into the charcoal, new roots on that side. And I saw some new roots in the back as well. Plus we have a few new growths on that. So let's just zoom back out on that. I moved some of the Phalaenopsis that were sitting on the bench over here. So this is the one that's in the large perlite that is still working on new roots and finishing off that new leaf. This is Peachy, and I have a paper towel to kind of shade. As you can see, I want that spike towards this way here. I guess you can see them this way. I've left the 2 Miltoniopsis over here. This one here is got new roots going, so I did raise that moss up just a little bit so that those new roots would go into the media. And then this one here has a few new growths on there. Got some new growths. Again, I put a little bit of moss to encourage the roots to go down. And then she also has a new growth on the other side. The soft clouds that was on the plant stand is still in her basic same spot. A little closer to the window, but it looks like she's about ready to start opening up her buds. My Phalaenopsis experiment with Leca is over here, kind of in the same lighting as she was when she was sitting on the bench. And then I have my big white Cattleya that I recently purchased right here. And then this spike right here, I was going to let it just be free, but if it's going to be a big large one like this and sitting over here, I don't want to bump her too much. So I'm going to train the spike to kind of go up this metal pole. And as you can see, I do have a clip on it. This clip is very, very loose. So the spike can still grow through it without any damage. And she is still in her original nursery pot. And then I have my cyclamen down here, hoping to get them to come back alive. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. Hold on, let's go back over here. Look back right there. Do you see that? That's my Star of Bethlehem that has a new growth on it there. And can you see that other one right there? So I am slowly bringing that one back with a little bit of water every couple of days. Don't want to overdo it at first. I'll post a picture of that one if I can find one. And then let's go to the top here. I've moved all the begonias all the way back. That bowl that's up there, that has pebbles and water in it to kind of help create humidity. But what I did is I put my dendrobium up here. So that's the one that recently bloomed with a new growth. But I also moved my lark song up here because this spike, I had her sitting over here and she kept getting really close to this light, and I didn't want to burn the buds or have the buds kind of deformed. So I've moved her up here in the hopes that that spike kind of goes down towards the light. We'll see what happens with that. And then my other two dendrobium, one that's in a leca mix, which is the back bulb of the one we just saw. And then this one here was sold to me as a nobile, but it is a Phalaenopsis type dendrobium. We just have to wait for it to bloom one day so we can possibly identify it. Here we have another Phalaenopsis. I believe this one is spots that I have training to go towards this light. Again, once that blooms and opens up, we can turn her around and see her from the front. These are all still doing well. Deja is still trying to recover, growing a new leaf. She's got some new roots in there as well. And then my BCT Hawaiian treat, I have decided I'm just going to let her do her. I am not going to try to train these new growths. Do you see how it's growing all out winky? I'm just going to let her do what she wants to do and grow as close to how she would in the wild. Obviously, she's not going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to try to control her growth. I'm just going to see what she does. My 3 Phalaenopsis here on the mount, I was noticing, let's see if I can get really close in. You see all the roots in there? We can start seeing a lot of the roots. So when it's wet, you can really see the root growth in this area, but I'm glad we can see it now through here. So there's lots of roots going on. I can't wait for those roots to start coming out and just kind of getting that wild look as well. And then my Paphiopedilums I've put here on this table. Mel Hell, and then the red apple is still in bloom. Let's see if we can get out the sun glare. There she is. After I did the video on the Paphiopedilums and I was putting them back, look what I found. We have us a new growth. Do you see it right there? We have a new growth coming on that one already. So that's amazing. And then of course our Spring Pleasure is just continuing to work on that one. And then this one here is the Shen Yi Heart. And of course, while I was there getting the Oncidium and the Cactus, wow, this one here kind of spoke to me. Isn't that pretty? I love the flaring and then the way the lip is and the little hood that's just kind of like protecting her. But this one here is the looks like macabre pops. But she looks a lot like the Spring Dance to me. I'm going to have to pull out a picture and see. Even the leaves look the same. These two right here, don't those leaves look kind of the same? I don't mind if it's a duplicate. All right, now the plant stand that used to sit in front of that table is now over here in between the shelf and this table. Over here, what I've done is I've moved my Schilleriana, and I've got the Neophonetia here, which last time I thought I saw a new growth, and I did. It was just really tiny and I couldn't see it, but there it is right there, guys. All right, and I have read that they like to be a little drier in the winter, so I am not keeping her wet, kind of letting her dry out all the way before I water her. Anybody have any ideas down below if that's the correct thing to do when I'm growing in a home environment? This one here is the Phalaenopsis Tasico Date crossed with DTPS Pure Moon that finished off this first new leaf she attempted. Now she's working on another leaf, and I don't see any roots on the outside, but as you can see, she's got lots of root projection going on. So I've kind of put her here. And then we have the Phalaenopsis looseberry that I got at either, like I said, the hardware store or the grocery store. That is, I believe, working on another leaf. And then I have moved my rhododendron. I'll put the name on the thing. But I've moved her here because she was sitting on that table, but I put her here to get a little more light to help support this new growth that's right here. And as you can see, there's lots of roots on the top, and she does have roots in the bottom. And then the Zygonesia, I am waiting for this new growth right here to start pushing out some roots. And once I see those roots, I'm going to put her in cocoa husk. And I was looking when I was moving things around, see if we can get down in there and see, where is it? Because, oh, there it is. Do you see that new growth right there as well? And then I've just moved the little succulent bowl and the green bean plant back here on the shelf as well. And then everything else is pretty much still in its same spot. We'll just kind of panorama here. But I did make one more purchase. Oh, look at these. Oh my goodness. I'm going to turn the light off on this shelf so you can really appreciate the green on this. Look how pretty. And then even the lip kind of has a greenish tint to it. Chartreuse, I believe, is the color. But look at the trumpet. Look at that trumpet style lip. Look at that. With that spotting down there. Look at that. Oh, that's just gorgeous. And then this is very true to color. Very true to color. All right, let me turn the light back on. Well, everybody else back here is doing fine, but I saw this. I love pink. I would never wear this color pink, but this is gorgeous. Again, I saw it when I saw the on Costella, and I was like, I gotta have that in my life. But she was a bit unruly, so I did kind of stake her up a little bit to fit her on the shelf. She has 1, 2, 3, and then there's another really small growth starting right. That's right. Do you see it kind of poking out on the side right over there? So she's got 4 directions of growth right now. And I will wait until I see new root growth off this latest growth, because she does have an eye already starting to swell, which will be growing out of the pot. So this is kind of where she's going to sit. So I went ahead and left her there. But other than that, everybody else is still in the same spot as they were prior to. And I wasn't going to show you guys this until I was certain, but my yellow bird looks like it's going to bloom, and I'm hoping that it is a yellow bird because I did buy her out of spike. You know what, let's just talk about the Maxima as well. So Maxima has a new growth, and she's still growing this one. She has this new growth, let's see, right here, and there are just roots all over the place on this thing. So I think she's pretty happy. I did move her up with the Phalaenopsis. And let's go down here. Miss Minnie Mark is still in bloom, looking absolutely gorgeous. And then my one that I can't ever pronounce, the Inscriptio Dianblatis, is still kind of working on her spikes. Her leaves, she's got roots. The Summer Rose, her leaves are starting to relax a little bit. She's got a new leaf coming out. Hieroglyphica, just doing roots and leaves. And let's see. Sogo Vivian. Oh, she's just teasing me with this bud right here. She is just teasing me with this first bud. She's like, I'm going to open at my time. But oh my goodness, she's got 8 blooms on there right now. I am so excited to see those again in person. I've seen videos and pictures, but I'm excited to see it in person. The Tai-Shing Fly Eagle is still working on her spike. It is extending fairly well, and I like the direction it's coming. It's coming the way I want it to, which is towards me instead of the wall. And then my Yopon Evergreen, again, still waiting on blooms on her. And for those of you who grow regular Phalaenopsis or the hybrids, those blooms spikes grow and bloom quicker than your novelty summer phals. And then my Sideriana, I just love that big juicy leaf. It's almost as big as the one on the other side. So she's pretty happy. All right. Oh, and Vanda, Miss Vanda, Look at her leaf growth going really quickly. And then my seedling, Dick Smith's, has some roots growing down in her pot. And then that's a recent repot. She's doing really well. Her roots are going down. Her pseudobulbs are shriveling a little bit, but she still has enough storage to survive and recover once those roots really get going. Nothing new going on with the Deliciosa. I do have another bloom on my Hariella retrocala, and she does have another bloom on the way. My Kingianum I've got down here. I've been keeping her dry, watering her like every 2 weeks, just making sure that the canes don't dry out. And then I moved Miss Velvet down here. One, because of where I had her originally, I kept knocking on her, and she's just getting roots in the pot and really starting to settle in, so I didn't want to keep disturbing that. And I guess with that, guys, we are just going to stop it on these big juicy buds. And this one here is getting ready to open up. I guess I could tell you what it is, huh? It is a Potinera, let's see, Potinera high singing pink doll. From what I did, what little research I did before I bought her, she's supposed to be fragrant. If she's not, oh my goodness, the pictures were just absolutely stunning. And I just want to give you guys a heads up. I will be doing a video in the next few days about blackening tips and clay pots. So be on the lookout for that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Again, if you celebrate Christmas and decorate, hope everything is up. And we will see you on the next one.